Let's move on and let's go from Wendy to Trina Braxton, who people are dragging her husband online. So fans are calling out Trina Braxton's husband, Vaughn, for not allowing the reality star to grieve the death of her ex-husband, Gabe Solis. Now, things are arguing between Braxton Family Values star Trina Braxton and her husband, Vaughn Scales, when the topic of Braxton's ex-husband came up during the episode of their post-show podcast. As the couple dissected the week's episode of the Braxton Clips and Cocktails, things hit a sour note when Braxton mentioned she thought Scales was punishing her for grieving the loss of her ex-husband, Gabe Solis, who passed in 2020 from cancer. Now, Scales, who married Braxton in 2019, so they've been married for 5 years, confirmed he, in fact, did have an issue with her emotional display over her former husband. So we have a bunch of clips that I want y'all to hear, and we're gonna do a whole carousel because there's 3 parts, and we're gonna go through them, and then I'm gonna give my opinion because I want y'all to hear it. And this season of the Braxtons has been pretty good, and I like that they're breaking all this stuff down in their personal life. And I know people feel how they feel with certain situations, but I feel like if these people have to go through their grief and pain and stuff, and that encourages those viewers at home to go through that as well in their own personal life, then I see no problems with it. But please hold as we get to this clip, and then we'll talk.
You said that you felt I punished you.
Yes. And then I said that Vaughn didn't realize that I loved him for real, and I loved him, and I chose him.
You're putting words in my mouth.
No, I'm saying what I'm recapping. So now with that recap, what do you have to say?
Yeah, okay, first off, what you said was really jumbled, but what was said on the episode is that she felt like she was punished for grieving. And that was absolutely true. Yeah, I was angry because, and since we're having this conversation, and here's the thing, this wasn't my idea. She asked me if we would talk about this tonight.
I did.
And anybody that knows me knows that I don't bite my tongue because I don't really care what people think of me. So I'm just going to say it. If you want my honest opinion,
yes,
I don't see a lot of difference between the way you grieved for Tracy and Gabe. It looked the same to me. There was a little more heat behind Tracy, of course, because it's your sister. But it didn't, to me, and I had nothing to measure it against when Gabe died, so I didn't know anything, but I knew I didn't like it. Because to me, the grief seemed too strong for someone you'd had all those problems with. That's my opinion, because that's the way I look at the world. Now we had a number of conversations about it. We had a number of arguments about it. But it wasn't until Tracy passed and I had time to reflect, probably sitting, on a mountain somewhere by myself. And I'm like, you know what? Those two grieving. And that made me angry. So to me, the grief looked like you still had real strong feelings for the dude. And which made me think, well, what am I doing here? And this is in the moment. We're talking in 2018. We were a year in when this happened. We were a little over a year in when it happened, but it just, I didn't like any parts of it. Now, you can't tell anybody how to grieve. Nope, I wasn't. I was just I wasn't trying to tell her you need to grieve this way. I was just saying from my perspective, it just looked to be a bit much. And I felt that way then, and I feel that way now. But you have to do things the way you see.
But I still felt like when you knew that when Bio Dad was absent and he didn't have any children of his own, and he was the one who raised and cared for.
Are you saying this for them?
I'm saying this for you.
But you can't say it for me, because here's the thing. I had no problem with that guy. There was no jealousy. There was nothing, because the moment you told me that he was sick. What did I do? The moment
you found out that he was sick, you were like, I have these remedies. I need you to, yes, these doctors I can help him with. Yes, absolutely.
Got you on the phone with him and got him on the phone with him.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely
tell the whole story.
But I am. But you didn't give me. I was.
But you weren't.
But you took the time out to say what you needed to say. So it was
enough. Because your first thing should have been.
Pause. First of all, this ninja got motherfucking nerve. How you gonna sit up in here and tell your whole shit? See, I gotta get this out before we get to the rest. This man is sending me in this whole situation. Now, I'm with you because of the whole situation when you was talking about, you were feeling the kind of way because you felt that how can you sit up here and grieve over this man who put you through so much? But I'm like, yeah, they have history. So regardless of how a man did me dirty, if he would have died and I was in a relationship and he has history with not only myself, but also stepped up to the plate to raise children that aren't even biologically his because they know good ass daddy, biological daddy of her 2 children wasn't there to do what needed to be done. How you expecting me to just not grieve for someone because of how he treated me in situation? This is why there's certain things when it comes about certain people, you women need to keep that shit to yourselves and don't be confiding and whispering in these current men ear about the no goodness of your exes because then they try to hold that shit against you. But also what I don't like about Vaughn, because I was with him in his feelings and everything and him being valid about how he was feeling about certain things, especially when it comes to, how you grieving hard for this man. It's like you can't tell somebody how to grieve. If my sister and my ex both died of cancer, it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna feel sad, I'm gonna feel depressed, I'm gonna feel all these different things. And if you've been watching the episode, you know that Trina been like, I can't even go to sleep at night. Like I literally have to go to sleep when the sun comes up. And then when I do go to sleep, she's self-medicating, she's drinking a lot of alcohol, she does admit to all of that, and she's got post-traumatic stress disorder because it's like, you lost Gabe, you didn't really get to grieve properly, you trying to grieve your damn sister, then you have this husband who clearly is spewing all kinds of damn insecurity, who is trying to tell you how to grieve for this man. And not only that, he going to sit up in here and try to tell you how to say stuff. Like, first of all, you shut the fuck up for like 2 seconds and let me get a sentence out because you busy worrying about how you going to come across to the people watching back the video. So you can't control all of that. Now, how you come out and you say stuff, this is why people are dragging your ass, your wide back ass, all over social media, because you trying to control Trina and tell her how to react to a situation, but you're not shutting up enough to let her say what she gotta say so she can articulate what she needs to say. You ain't getting it out fast enough. Well, if you shut the fuck up, she probably could get it out instead of worrying about, okay, now I gotta say certain things a certain way as to not piss you off, and you still gonna be mad. But anyway, I had to get that out so we can get back to the clip because he's irritating my spirit.
The moment that Vaughn found out, he went into help mode because I helped everybody. So there was no jealousy or anything. I never had any.
I didn't say that.
He was jealous.
No, I didn't say that.
He was jealous. I'm saying
no, you did. That did come up in an argument one time. There was no jealousy. There was nothing. I had no ill feelings towards the dude. That came in my witnessing or watching the grieving process. That's when it became a problem. So. You just gonna sit there?
Wait, what do you mean?
Oh, this one, here come the rap that's really gonna piss y'all off.
TV show host, and you're just letting dead space. You're not saying anything.
No, it's not that I'm saying dead space. I'm allowing you to say how you feel because when I did say something, it was.
But you because you were wrong.
And I can't speak for you. I can't speak for you. But there are a lot of people who are going through this type of situation, and they're going through it.
Who's going through this situation?
Somebody, because we are not exempt. We go through the same stuff that everybody else goes through. But
this is but here's the thing. It was a unique situation because it wasn't a one-off. It wasn't a one-off. Mm. I've never met anybody who was best friends with their ex. That was a new circumstance. I didn't even know that paradigm existed in the world. Mm.
Okay, I'm tired of hearing his ass. Now, I guess because you don't know that existed because you probably been in a lot of shitty ass goddamn relationships with the way you come across in your energy, being controlling and acting like you know every goddamn thing, but you really don't, sir. So maybe every relationship you've been in the past, you haven't been able to amicably move on from those relationships. But there are people out here. I know a lot of them. I have been in those situations where I've had amicable splits with people and we remain cordial and cool. Maybe because you come from a toxic background. I don't know what your background is in regards to how your parents and stuff is, but maybe you have a lot of situations and issues that you need to deal with, you know, from your childhood that's crossed over into your adulthood. But yeah, just because you haven't experienced it, you should probably maybe, as I said before, because you love talking, but you don't like listening. Take the time, be quiet, shut the fuck up, and try to listen and learn instead of acting like you know every damn thing, because you don't. Now, on the top of that, what really sent me was that next clip that I just showed y'all, where he went, "So you just not gonna say nothing? Why don't you're not gonna allow the shit that came out your mouth to at least travel through the ether into her ears and process in her brain so that way she could understand what you're coming from, so that way she responds. Nobody's so quick. Like, I guess maybe that's what you're good at, because you wasn't really good at it, but I'm just saying that sarcastically. You always, I can't stand people that just be ready for the answer, for the clapback, but y'all don't listen. So there's nothing wrong with dead air. There's nothing wrong with taking a moment to let things process before you respond. Everything don't need a response immediately. That's not how people work. And people aren't always going to march to your drum, to the beat of your drum. You have to allow people to grieve. You got to allow people to have the, you know, to feel the way that they feel in situations, and stop trying to control every damn body, because you are you and Trina is Trina. And if y'all can't sit and figure out how to work y'all situation out, then maybe y'all need to part ways. Because if you're not willing to listen and learn as a man and act like you know every damn thing, then maybe you and Trina don't need to be together. Because, yeah, Gabe wasn't the best person in the world. He was a little annoying at times, you know, for what we saw on Braxton Family Values. But at the end of the day, she has history with that man. He was there for a long period of time, married to her, raising her 2 children that aren't even his. And then when he dies of cancer, yeah, it's like a lot of that history that we have, I can't just put that to the side because I got to take your feelings into consideration. I'm not going to sit and rub it in your damn face. But at the same time, a real person would allow their significant other to grieve in their own way. But if a strong person will be able to be like, you know what, when you dealt with what you need to deal with, like, I'm here to be a shoulder to cry on, and I'm going to help you out when need be. But I'm not going to sit up in here and make you feel away. Because real person would give the person the space. And then when you are actually ready to receive that shoulder that it'll always be here. Because I'm not insecure. The one thing about me is I ain't insecure over nobody. Like, if you want to go your separate ways, if you want to go and do something else, go ahead. Like, people are not property. And I think that's what people need to learn. You don't own the people you're in relationships with. And I think that's what a lot of people think marriage is, or being in a relationship. Y'all be acting like these people are just like y'all cattle, or that you just won them in some type of slave sale. That's not what that's not what these, relationships are. People are their individual selves, and you have to learn how to coexist with each other within reason. So I say all this to say, and this coffee is good. I'm sitting there sipping on this damn coffee as I've been doing the show. But anyway, so let's say, what do y'all think of this story? Do y'all think that Vaughn was doing a little too much in regards of airing out his grievances? Like, I trust to believe, it was good to hear his feelings and his overall thoughts and getting those out. And I'm here for how he felt. It's valid, all that stuff. But you also, if your feelings is valid, you need to respect Trina's feelings in the situation and understand where she's coming from in certain situations. And yeah, just because you never experienced or seen something doesn't mean that you have a right to dismiss other people's feelings. Stop trying to control what other people say. And he do come over a little control. And I can see why a lot of people was in the comments dragging him. I'm like, damn, hold on. Because I was like, one of the things I forgot to do the whole damn time was, while we was talking about it, what did the people say? And that was the part that I was supposed to, but I think I got so furious over some of the shit he was doing. What did the people say? Hold on. So one user said on the Twitter, said, this was unsettling. How are you jealous of a man that's no longer alive? And who are you to compare incidences where a woman grieves? Trina lost not only her sister to an illness, but Gabe, who, despite his infidelity and issues, actually had history with her. To pick up grievances and compare them seems sociopathic and a red flag. Another follower isn't too sure of the sincerity of the relationship, saying, I'm convinced Vaughn doesn't like Trina. The way he talks and looks at her when they cooking, I stopped watching. He seems abusive on camera. Several people shared the same sentiments, tweeting, Vaughn ain't never just sat right with me. Am I the only one who have this thought? As well as, I don't like him, never did. It's something about his spirit. And you want to know something? Maybe that's what it is too. It's like, yeah, I never particularly cared for him either. But there are some people that are team scales and basically said that it was like, they understood his view, his point of view, and his feelings were valid. And I totally agree with that. But I think the problem with him was his delivery. The way he was delivering the message was a turnoff. I don't know how any broad can get moist for that. But one user said, his feelings are valid. I remember watching BFV when this happened, and I could tell he was uncomfortable. However, he should have been open about that. To me, it seems he's letting it fester in him and has resentment. Another person suggested that Braxton could handle her husband's brash delivery. All I see is a man expressing how his ego got the best of him, but he could not define that properly, or he avoided defining himself. Trina can handle this hard conversation. She can handle this type of man her husband is. He makes valid points, and so does she. Exactly. There's nothing. Nobody said they wasn't making valid points. The fact of the matter was the way he was coming across, the way he was talking, his delivery, it was just stink. So now when it comes to determining the differences between red flags and green flags, Seraph Lee 0411 was the voice of the majority when he tweeted, if this is love, I'd rather stay single. Okay. And on that note, we're going to close this topic out. So whatever y'all thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below.